reading a lot lately, which is kind of normal for me actually, I read all the time. But I've been reading these gardening books, and I am constantly coming across the idea that buy peat moss, peat moss, peat moss, peat moss, and then mix it with vermiculite, 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 vermiculite. Here's the problem. Peat moss is a non-renewable resource. There's just nothing else you can really say about it except that it is non-renewable. We clear cut a bog, which is a swamp. We evict all the animals from that area. We then take the dirt or the soil, the amazing 1,000-year-old soil that's in these bogs, and we strip it out, and we take it to our gardens, or actually we take it to the building centers, and then they sell it to us in these lovely, extremely condensed bags. We take it home, we put it into our gardens, and we grow flowers in them. But in the meantime, it's non-renewable. It took 1,000 years to make, and all the animals are evicted, and it's just all around wrong. But and vermiculite, that's another great example. Now, vermiculite is not quite so hard to come by. Vermiculite is a byproduct of volcanoes and eruptions and all that good stuff. So it's a rock, it's something that we can get again. But it's something you have to purchase. And the reason why we use vermiculite is to make the soil light and fluffy, so we have more space so that it absorbs more water. Now, we all eat. I eat, you eat, everybody eats. And most people eat fruits and vegetables. If you are a gardener, you're going to eat a lot more fruits and vegetables. Now, all that green, all that leftovers, all the ends of your carrots and then the tops of your tomatoes and all the garden clippings and everything like that, that's all garbage, and some people throw it in the actual garbage and they send it out, and other people throw it in their organic garbage or their compost garbage or here we call it a bio garbage, and it goes to the city, and other people put it into a backyard compost or into a pile. They add a little bit of water, they turn it over a few times, and they use it. But no matter what we do with it, that is a garbage, a leftover byproduct from what we do every day. It's something that we all have. And yet, no matter what, it turns into this. Now, if we put it in plastic, now I have a neighbor that lives down the road from me who takes his garbage, his compost, his leftover greens from all of his cookings and everything else. Now he throws meat in that too, I don't recommend him doing this. But he takes all that stuff, and instead of throwing it in the bio bin, which we'd have here, which would be organic compost, he puts it in a plastic bag and he throws it in his garbage. Now, I have had a few polite words with this particular neighbor, and I've tried to explain to him that when you put something like that into a plastic bag and throw it into the garbage, into the landfill, it doesn't have the same access. The worms can't get to it, the bag's not going to decompose for 500 years, it's going to rot on the inside, yes, it's going to get all gooey, but it's not able to turn back in to soil, it's not able to feed anything. It's essentially encased in a tomb of, uselessness. So don't do that. Please don't put your greens in plastic. On the other hand, if you put your greens into a compost, or even send it to your local municipality, your local compost, or your local recycle center, normally the recycle center takes care of all these things, and certainly in my case the recycle center does just about everything. All of our garbage is kind of all recycled. It will come back in this form. Now you can go to a building mart, to a nursery, and you can buy a 40-liter bag or a 20-liter bag, and for a 40-liter to 60-liter bag, let's see, we pay anywhere from €3 to €6, €7. In fact, I've even seen them for 10 or 15 euros, depending on how humusy it is, how much organic matter, how fantastic it is. You pay a lot for that. And now, I'm not saying that we should all go and get trailers and we should all get a ton worth of soil or compost and have it delivered to our homes. But if you have the possibility of going to something like your local municipality, and I promise you, if you don't have one, there's going to be one really close to you. If you have the possibility of going there, this entire trailer load, which I'm not even sure, we'll show you later how much this is going to turn into. This cost me €9. €9. Not 40 liters for 10 euros or 60 liters for 12 euros. 750 kilos for 9 euros. It's garbage. It's the after stuff that we all use and we all throw out, and you don't have to worry if it's organic or not, because in the decomposing process it heats up so high that it becomes essentially organic in itself. it destroys all bacteria, all seeds, all life forms. It becomes completely sterile of anything. And once you put it back into your garden, it cools down. Now, of course, you want it finished. This is finished compost. Once you put it back in your garden, the worms are going to come in, the bugs, all those good guys are going to come in, and they're going to start living in this and bringing it back to life and making it the most amazing food for your plants, and essentially completing that circle. So we take our greens, we throw them out, put them in our compost, put them in our BO bins, send them to the city. We go to the city, we buy them, or better yet, we just go out and harvest them. Now, in my case, I do have a compost at home, but there's no way that I can make, now what will this be? This will be about 5 tons by the time we're done. There's no way I can make 5 tons a year, and I've already done this for our house too. But the good thing is I don't have to do this every year. So if you're starting a new garden or you find that your ground is a little soily or you don't like the soil itself, don't throw it away. Don't cover it up with plastic and just go and buy peat moss and vermiculite and throw that on top. Work the good stuff into what you've got, because what you have is good. It has all kinds of good stuff into it, and we will talk about that later in another episode. I think that's really, really important to know. I've been reading lately in all these ridiculous books that you should just forget about what you've already got, spend tons of money, spend thousands of dollars, and then, you know, you'll have the privilege of growing a few vegetables. It doesn't have to be like this. This entire garden, as of now, has cost me 20 bucks in soil. So that's my take for today, and we will continue this later. I hope that wasn't as heavy as it sounded, and I will see you in the next episode. Toodaloo!